Welcome to the Royal Road School of Prayer. Saint Teresa of Avila tells us that the divine path of Carmelite or silent prayer is the royal road to heaven, and that those who travel it will be given a great treasure. A link to the Praying with Teresa of Avila website has been provided below to enable you to easily find today's presentation, Why a School of Prayer. The website provides all the simple tools you need to develop your own practice of Carmelite or silent prayer, along with complete course materials to start your own school of prayer in your parish or community. Why a school of prayer? More people than you think would be capable of practicing silent prayer, but no one taught them. And without an interior life, the baptized run out of breath, their actions become noisy gongs, and even their religious practice, when it exists, dries up. Pope John Paul II, 1982. Schools of prayer have emerged to meet an ever-increasing unconscious need among the lay faithful to develop one's faith and personal relationship with Christ. We learn to read, we learn to count, we learn to swim, and we learn to ride a bike. So why wouldn't we have to learn to pray in a silent heart-to-heart with the Lord? Well, silent prayer is a simple look turned towards Jesus. It's an intimate contact with the living God. This prayer from the heart enables us to meet the person of Christ, to truly know ourselves, and to give ourselves ever more fully to Him. The spiritual exercise is not a very complicated one, but does require knowledge of a few basics to be initiated into this heart-to-heart with God, who loved us first. The mission of the School of Prayer is precisely to help Christians develop, through the practice of silent prayer, a taste for a more concrete spiritual life that overflows into their relationships with others. Each school of prayer usually has 6 meetings, 7 if a testimony is included. Each one has 3 parts. The first part is a doctrinal teaching. These teachings are variable and they're short, usually 30 minutes, and they give an overview of the bigger questions related to the prayer of the heart. Usually the topics include what is silent prayer, the structure of the person, the difficulties in prayer, the prayer of recollection, the fruits of prayer, and contemplation. Part 2 is small group discussion. During the first encounter, the participants briefly introduce themselves and explain what motivated them to attend the class, and if they have any experience with silent prayer. Going forward, each participant is invited to ask a question either related to the presentation or not, to identify any obstacles to prayer, the difficulties they may have encountered in prayer, and the graces received. Ideally, these groups are led by an experienced layperson who can suggest ways of overcoming the challenges. And then finally, there's a time of silent prayer together as a group. This time of communal prayer allows participants to realize that this prayer is not about individual piety, but is an act of the Church allowing each Christian to meet the heart of God in the world on fire that has all too often lost the notion of the sacred. The participant is then invited to practice silent prayer daily. Amen.